Welcome to the How to Do Your 20s podcast. Whether you want to just relax and travel or get paid for what you love doing, you should be able to do that, and I want to help. I'm your host, Travis Marziani, and like most 20-somethings, I did exactly what society said I should do. Go to school, get a good job, but then I realized I don't want to spend the next 40 years of my life in the prison that is the typical 9-to-5 work environment. So about 3 years ago, I quit my job so I could travel the world, start my own business, and live life under my terms. I'm not special and I definitely wasn't born rich, but the goal of this show is to give you real practical how-to information so you can live life the way that you want to live it. If you want to get free bonus podcast episodes like the one I just did about 14 ways to invest in yourself, go to howtodoyour20s.com to sign up. One of the best ways to spend your money is by using it to improve the skills that you find valuable. In the last episode I did, we talk about my 14 favorite ways to do just that. To get the free episode, go to howtodoyour20s.com. Now let's get into this week's episode. In this episode, I have Jordan, who's been on the podcast a bunch of times before. I'll add a more extensive intro before this one, but let's get into the conversation. So I wanted to do a conversation about questions that people have more often. The last couple times I've talked with Jordan, we kind of just have like a normal in-person conversation. But one of the questions I get a lot are like, what are some things to do in your 20s? Like, what do you recommend doing in your 20s? And obviously, that's a really big topic, but we broke it down into some things that we both think people should do in their 20s. And the first one we wrote down is travel somewhere cheaply for a month and learn a new skill. You want to talk a little bit about
How do I do my 20s, Travis?
Well, I mean, so that's the thing, just as a side note, a lot of people with this podcast, it's not always about answering that question. It's like me posing that question.
Right.
Yeah. I don't claim to be an expert.
No, but I mean, no one is an expert. It's a dialogue in the finest. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so my background would be just travel somewhere based on your budget, based on what's available to you, go travel somewhere. And a lot of people think it's unavailable to them, and that's kind of why I did that AMA about a year and some change back, which was soon after we did the first podcast. But a lot of people have gotten a hold of me since then, kind of for more advice. But yeah, travel, man. Just go travel. Like, there's so many places that are so easy to travel to. Your home country, just because it's your home country, or even your home state, doesn't mean you can't travel it.
Right.
Like, not everyone's as blessed as we are to come from California.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot out there everywhere, and there are opportunities everywhere.
Yeah, and I've told you this before, and I've talked about this before on the podcast, but you're kind of like my example of someone that I don't feel like you've always had a lot of money. Like, you kind of make money as you go. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
or like you'll move
accurate.
somewhere. Like, I think I remember you telling me like, oh yeah, like I save up enough money. Like, I think you moved to Thailand to teach English or something like that. Saved up enough money.
Well,
to
no,
travel. Oh, okay,
I used a credit card to get there, and I'm still paying that off. Yeah. I mean, it's a value switch, or, I mean, if you never have it to begin with, it's just a mindset, right? Like, what do you value? I've never valued money. And, I went through some time in my younger 20s where, maybe I didn't make the best financial decisions, and so I have some credit card debt to stand for that, which whatever, like, it's slowly going away. It's fine. It's not affecting my life in any way. It's not like killing me. But I also don't have other bills to pay. But yeah, I don't even save money before I leave most of the time. Like, I try to, obviously, but it's not even about leaving anymore. It's about, like, I go see my family, but I don't consider that going home. I consider it, okay, I have a few weeks with my family, somewhere comfortable. I feel the same way when I go visit my best friend in Nashville or a girlfriend in Seattle, right? Like, I go see good friends everywhere, and I feel the same way I would feel at my house. So it's a matter of having the money to get to the next destination and some YOLO creativity to see what happens next.
So what do you say to people, because I get this comment a lot, like, well, I don't have enough money to travel anywhere. Like, what would you say to someone when they say that?
I would say, lovingly, grow some balls and just do it. Because most people want to go travel because they're lacking, happiness or satisfaction where they are. That's not always the case, because it obviously augments your life no matter what. But, a lot of people that I've spoken with, young people, because I'm not young, we're unhappy. There's something going on that's making you super, just not stoked about your situation. So you want to go travel, but then we've got this kind of fear bubble going on in our culture where, oh, I don't have the money, I can't do that, you know. In other cultures, forget not having money, you have to provide for your family, or you have to take care of your older, your older parents. So it's like, to not have money is a great blessing because you don't have attachments with that. Like, dude, it's cool to go, I mean, this is an extreme, but there's nothing wrong with finding a field to sleep in. Sure, it's considered illegal and, in this country, not in other ones, but like, I've traveled through Europe with very little money, and I would just sleep outside everywhere, hitchhiking, because it was nice and it's relaxing. You don't have to deal with anything.
So that's actually like something, not a deep-seated fear, but I don't think I'd be able to sleep. Like when you say sleep outside, is it just like outside in the field, or have you ever slept in like the street?
I slept on a park bench in Paris once, but that was more like coming home drunk from a club. The metro was closed, and I couldn't walk all the way back to my place. But it's the same concept.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just happened to be drunk, and I happened to have somewhere to stay. I didn't have a backpack or anything, but I easily could have been robbed of my cell phone and wallet. You know what I mean?
You were able to sleep even on that park bench?
I guess you're pass out drunk.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's one of many drunk stories. But like, from the other perspective, what I mean about the happiness thing is like, if you're depressed or you're lacking something in your life, you got nothing to lose.
Right.
You have nothing to lose. Sleeping outside is the least of your worries. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because life's a lot worse when you're contemplating suicide.
Sure. Yeah.
And I've been there in some cases. I don't want to say I've held the weapon up or the, whatever the tool would be, but I've been that out of it in my life where I'm like, do I even want to be alive anymore? And then when that happens, just go be uncomfortable. Go make yourself extremely uncomfortable, and then it won't matter.
Sounds like the opposite of advice is what I'd expect. It's like, hey, you feel really depressed, like go make yourself feel uncomfortable, feel worse. But I mean, it makes sense.
Well, because it's addressing the cause, not the symptom.
Right.
Like someone was asking me recently why I chose Jamaica. And I mean, there's plenty of reasons, but like one of my reasons was I was so fucking like, I needed to get out of California because I've been stuck for a while. I was working on this early phase of my startup, whatever, and like it wasn't that successful. It was in a lot of ways, but it wasn't successful in the ways like statistically, like seeing money or results.
Sure.
I needed to get out. First thing I saw was music teacher wanted in Jamaica. I was like, okay, take me, please. I've always wanted to go to Jamaica. I love music and I love working with kids. But I get there and, it's dangerous there and there's a high murder rate and there's all this stuff. But, like, that's what kept me going, because if I wasn't all worried for my life there, I would have just been here, like, lamenting life itself for no reason, being a spoiled first world Westerner, you know? So, like, going to do that really brought me back to life for months, you know, and then it took time to kind of get back into the shitty phase.
So the first time, was Thailand the first time you really like traveled?
No. I studied abroad.
Okay, yeah.
At 19. So things to do in your 20s. If you're in college, study abroad.
Sure.
Like for sure do it. Because a lot of times, depends on your major too. It may not always be the best idea. It depends on how much you enjoy where you're going to school, what you're doing. But I was a freshman in college, and everyone I was going to college with in the dorms were pretty much from my hometown or places like my hometown. All they did was party. I did once in a while. I wasn't opposed to it, but I was like really interested in meeting people and collaborating and doing creative things. I was at the time I was really into filmmaking. I wanted to like write scripts, and like do stuff, but no one was into that stuff. So like, yeah. So I studied abroad. I saw the study abroad office. It turned out it was the same price to live in southern France as it was to live in Southern California. And you pay the same school rate anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I was on loans anyway. So, like, why the fuck not?
Yeah. So
I worked for a summer, saved up extra cash, and then, like, I went over there. And, you're technically not allowed to work there. I had peers that, like, washed dishes and stuff, and you could hustle in different ways to make money. But the point was is you're supposed to show proof of funds before. And, if you're a student with loans or grants, then you can make that happen. I mean, I know people that profited from student loans and grants by studying abroad.
Oh,
okay. Like they'd have a scholarship or something, and then they go study abroad in Indonesia, and they get the money to be as if they're living in the States, but they're living in Indonesia.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah. And that kind of reminds me of something I want to bring up. I never did study abroad, and I've told this story to a lot of people, but I'm really happy I didn't study abroad personally because First off, I loved college. I went to USC, which was like my dream college, and I loved the social scene there. And after that, I ended up studying abroad a lot of my life. Like I lived in South America for probably a year cumulatively. So I guess I just want to point out that even if you're out of college doesn't mean you can't study abroad. Like go to Colombia, learn Spanish. Go somewhere. I went to Brazil to learn jiu-jitsu. I want to go to Thailand and learn Muay Thai. I mean, it's not the typical study abroad, but it's probably better in some ways.
When I graduated college, I took a year doing stuff around the state. I went to Europe for a while. I went back to Europe, and then I work traded in California on a winery. Then I went to Bangkok to teach English.
Okay.
And the program I was in for a month to get your TEFL certificate was like a study abroad program for graduates.
Right.
You know, like it was a bunch of people that had never been outside the U.S. before. They're finally off a leash, partying, going crazy. And to me, I totally recognized it for what it was. I was like, okay, cool. I can, like, enjoy this.
Yeah.
But it was a lot like studying abroad. An agency takes care of you, gives you your job so you know where to go.
Right.
They hold your hand the whole way, just like studying abroad would. So the thing about being in school is that, once again, they can hold your hand.
Yeah.
Having your hand held is comfortable. It
is
is nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Because it's uncomfortable enough going into a brand new culture, a brand new place for a year.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun for like 3 months, vacation mode. Then you get depressed and you're like, oh my God, this is it. And then you get in this slump and then you have to come out of it again. And
yeah. I think even like for me, just joining Spanish like schools or something like that, giving myself a little bit of purpose when I've lived abroad is really helpful. And it kind of gives you friends. It's like, hey, this guy's also in your class. You might not love the people, but there's the chance that you'll meet someone really cool, and I like that a lot because I've lived abroad a lot by myself, not really knowing anybody. And there's times where it's really cool and it's like, oh, I want to go meet new friends, but there's always times where it's kind of like, I don't know anybody and I just want to sit in home alone and whatever. I don't know if you've had the same kind of experiences.
I mean, yeah, yes and no. It always just depends because, like we said, like I just YOLO on out. When I need to leave, I leave.
Yeah.
And, generally I won't just leave on a dime. I used to maybe, but like there was once I walked out of an airport after I checked in because I decided I didn't want to go.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had to pay for that flight then still, right?
Yeah, lost it all. Yeah.
Why? What happened? What changed your mind?
Girl.
Oh, girl. Okay, I was going to assume that.
Yeah. But, no, so I'm not that rash anymore. But, yeah, so I like to just leave it at a moment's notice. So kind of just like whenever I'm headed somewhere, I'll like kind of hope that for the best. Like I'll send out a bunch of couch surfing requests. I'll ask Facebook, does anyone know anyone here?
Yeah.
I'll see what happens. But I'm going to be in Portugal in 2 weeks. I don't know where I'm staying yet, and I don't get until 11 p.m.
But I mean, worst case, you go to a hostel or something, or
I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to have any money by the time I get there.
So you might just sleep on the street for the night.
I'll probably sleep in the airport.
Really?
Yeah, because normally how those cheap airlines work anyway is you get there so late, there's no bus into town.
Oh,
right?
wow.
I mean, this is a pretty small town, so it may not even be an issue.
We travel so differently.
I know, that's what I was saying. Yeah, so like talking about travel destinations for me is way different because I don't really care where I go.
Yeah.
I just like to go somewhere new.
Yeah.
That's what I realized. In the beginning, I thought it was about destinations. Then I realized I really just need to keep moving around.
Right.
That's just kind of who I am. It's built in. Like, I kind of go crazy when I'm somewhere too long.
Interesting.
And, not everyone's like that, obviously, but some people are like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's really like, we're not told that that's okay. That like, oh yeah, some people are just different. Some people get married and live somewhere forever and have kids. Some people can't do that for the life of them. We're always told there's one way to live.
Well, see, it's funny because I think I've felt the opposite in a sense. Like I felt like because I have all this freedom, that it's crazy for me to stay in one location. Like in the sense that, because I do want to stay in Santa Monica for a year, and I feel bad about that because it's almost like everyone I talk to is like, oh wow, you can live wherever you want, like you can travel wherever you want to. You should be going, all these crazy places, and I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. So I feel like almost like the social pressure is the opposite. Like it sounds like you feel like the social pressure is telling you to stay in one place.
Right, yeah.
I feel like the social pressure is telling me don't stay in one, like travel more.
That's interesting.
I still want to travel, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of sick of it at the same time. And it's this, I think I want to do it for a different purpose. Like I've been doing a lot of traveling to live abroad. I want to start doing travel again like I used to as a vacation, where it's like,
trip.
Yeah, like where it's like, okay, and maybe I do want to do the thing where I travel somewhere for a month, like go back to Brazil and really focus on jiu-jitsu, or go to Thailand for a month, really focus on Muay Thai. But even that, it's kind of like, all right, it's a set amount of time. It's not just like, yeah, like I'm going to go wherever my heart. Yeah.
Well, that's one thing we're working on with Perception Travel is we're developing these programs where you can come with us for a month to whatever location is going on. And then in that month, we have a whole itinerary of what we're doing. We're working on a project. So, for example, next year we'll be in Jamaica teaching the kids how to use social media by storytelling and songwriting, recording a CD and making a movie. And they'll Snapchat and Instagram the whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that'll be what we're doing. And if you want to come, this is how much it costs. You can be a part of it. Or, like, going to Eastern Europe this summer, right, with this kid. He's coming along. We're going to be documenting a community skills sharing workshop in rural Bulgaria, right? So, but in the future, I'd like it to be something like, you know, I learned about this organization recently. We've been working on this for like a year, and then I read about this company that they do 12 countries in 12 months. They take 75 people, and I think they cater it towards big companies that want their millennial employees to have more world experience, to see like future market shares or whatever. So they take around 75 young people all around the world. So they start in Cambodia, then they go to Vietnam, then they go to Thailand, then they go to Eastern Europe, then they go to Central America for a month in each place. And they stay, I think, in one place for the whole month. And then they're all working the whole time. Because you're working digitally. So they make these agreements with the companies, like, you know. So all these different companies' employees come together. It's like studying abroad.
Yeah.
They hold your hand.
So
there's this whole new industry developing of, you know, hand-holding for young people to travel. And because it's so accessible now. Like, everyone's a digital nomad these days.
Sure.
And flights are so much cheaper than they once would have been, you know. And, like, we have this really rare privilege to travel the world.
So I'm dying. So to go back to one of the first things you were saying, I've been dying to ask this question.
Yeah.
You said that, so when you went to Thailand, you just put it on a credit card and said, I'll figure it out later, basically? Is that like how you got to Thailand?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because I feel like that's so contradictory to like 99% of what people would say to do. Like most people like don't ever touch credit card debt. If someone out there, you know, they're really dying to travel, would you say to them like,
use a credit card?
Yeah, use your credit card. Do it.
You know, I don't want to give any advice. I want to say my advice is follow your heart.
Right. Okay.
You know, people have asked me, should I drop out of school because I need to travel? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you to drop out of school.
Right.
You do what you need to do. You can be creative. You don't have to drop out of school to liberate your life, you know? You can figure out ways to do it. Go study abroad, for example.
Sure.
You know, that way you can stay in school, not piss off everyone that's supporting you to be in school. But yeah, like with the credit card thing, for me, I'm a dreamer, so I imagine like one day I'll have a bunch of money and like it won't be an issue. But meanwhile, it's like, okay, so I've used these credit cards and I've started using them again, but like they enabled me to have these experiences, these opportunities, and to have to pay, you know, less than $200 a month, like no, closer to $100 a month now. To pay that back, that's not a lot of money.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not paying rent.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not paying like utilities and shit. I have very minimal costs.
Yeah.
So like to be able to do that and it still enables me to do whatever.
Right.
You know, and it is being chipped away at. It's not like it's just going up. I mean, it was going up in the beginning, but now like it is going down slowly but surely. And you know, okay, so people look at interest. Everyone looks at the cumulative, the future thing. Like, well, if you spent $2,000 now, it's going to be $1,000 in interest within 5 years or whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, who cares?
Right.
No matter what, it's $100 a month for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like, I actually, like, I'm grateful for Citibank and Capital One and whatever. Like, okay, they're making their money. Yeah. It's a good business model. It enabled me to do that shit. So, yeah, there is that mentality, and I completely understand it by the accountant types and the people that crunch the numbers and the people that have a completely different mindset on money than me.
Yeah.
I respect it. You know, my way though was just like that was way more important to me, and it still is. You know, like I'm slowly but surely getting this company off the ground. So at one point I'll be able to make money more or less passively, but like, you know, I don't know when that's finally gonna be sustainable. But
Sure.
like my whole 20s, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a stage in my like rebellion phase where I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to pay him back, But like, that didn't last long. I have never missed a payment.
Okay. Well, see, I've never paid a dime in interest. Like I've made literally thousands of dollars off the credit card companies through the sign up bonuses, reward miles.
Yeah.
Pretty much every flight I take now is free. I'm lucky though. I mean, most people listening to this can't do it. My first job was consulting, and I was able to use credit cards for all my expenses for everything. I gathered those points up. Now my current business, we spend, I don't know, at least $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, probably more. We spend $10,000 plus every month.
Oh God! So you get rewards everywhere.
Yeah, we get rewards everywhere. And what I do is churn the credit cards. So a lot of the credit cards have, if you sign up and spend $3,000 within the first 3 months, you get 50,000 miles. And 50,000 miles can get you a round trip ticket to South America, round trip ticket to pretty much anywhere you want to. I mean, Europe, a lot of really cool places. So I've never spent a dime, but I think it was important for me to ask you that question because for a lot of people out there that feel completely stuck, it's like, you know what? It might be worth it. I'm not personally recommending it, but it's an option, I guess. It's like, I think a lot of people wouldn't even put that in the realm of possibilities, but it's like if you're feeling really depressed and you really want to go travel somewhere, it's not, it's not the end of the world.
Well, get this. Speaking of those kind of anecdotes, I started my first credit card at 18 because my dad was like, "You should start building your credit," and I was like, "Okay," and like I did, and I never have paid any interest, and like even throughout college, I had a pretty well-paying job throughout college. I made good money, and then I got an awesome tax return one year because I worked full-time and I was a full-time student, and there was this new California thing that had an awesome tax return. By the time I graduated at 22 years old, I had so much savings in the bank, like for me, and even still today, I would say I didn't know what to do with it, but like, and not only was like, all right, I'm taking my first indefinite trip. I had enough miles to pay for a flight to Europe.
Oh, nice.
With one of those credit cards, and granted, it's a shitty fucking credit card. It's a American Airlines Advantage one, and no matter where you're going, you still have to pay $100.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's a lot less than $1,200 you'd have to pay or whatever.
I mean, yeah, but when you're going, the last time I did it was in Jamaica last fall, and it was just like the ticket to Jamaica was like $200, $250 or something. So I used all these miles, and then like I still had to pay $100.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That I fucked up.
Yeah, that was. I was gonna say, like, I'm the opposite. Like, I'll shop for. I've gotten flights that should have cost me $1,600 round trip, and I get them for 40,000 miles. So it's like, maybe 40,000 miles and $100 or whatever. So it's like really good deals.
Sorry, you're gonna have to mix the audio a bit.
Oh yeah.
I just keep noticing. Yeah. It'll be fine. But
when you say mix the audio,
I just mean there's some really loud points.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
For you or me, and then there's low points.
That's okay. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. But what's funny is all those miles I had gotten. Like, what was I doing in college? I obviously didn't have a business. I wasn't spending $10,000 every month on materials. I couldn't pay my rent with it. Like, how was I getting the points? You may be asking yourself, listener. I was buying vodka and beer and any expense I had at the grocery store. I never took trips.
Yeah.
My only expenses, I think I bought a computer. I did buy a laptop my senior year of college, and I bought a MIDI keyboard for a few $100. Besides that, I don't think I had any big expenses. Yet I still bought enough alcohol to get enough reward points to get that flight.
I'll throw this into some people I know because, like the minimum $3,000 spend in 3 months. Some people will do things like you can buy dollar coins from the U.S. government, U.S. Mint, and they'll ship it to you for free. So you buy 3,000.
Can you still do that? I read about that.
There's like some. It's a little bit, but even if you lose $20 or something, I forget exactly how it is. But there's other ways to do it. Like you could start a business and just buy $3,000 worth of your own product. Sure, you're going to pay a credit card processing fee. But that's going to be like on $3,000, it'll be like $60
compared to the flight. Oh,
yeah,
that's a good point.
So no one ever thinks about that, and I want to say this because this podcast doesn't have a huge audience, so it's not going to like get overturned or whatever. But it's definitely worth thinking about.
Yeah, I mean that's something I would think about like right away. Yeah, interesting. I don't want to dwell on that right now while we're talking.
Anyway, so one of the questions I did want to ask you is we talked about moving somewhere new and learning a new skill. Like what kind of skills? I told you I really am interested in Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, well,
learning
okay.
Languages.
Use that credit card to even if you're in the States, like go to yoga.
Yeah.
Right? Go do something new. Like for physical fitness and health, like just because you like working out and lifting weights, like that doesn't mean it's the only form of exercise there is. Like try it all.
Mm-hmm.
Go do yoga, go do Muay Thai, whatever. If you can't travel, go do that. If you want something to do. But sorry, what was your question?
So basically, like, what other skills would you want to like move abroad and learn?
Yeah, learn a musical instrument. Say
All
you're
right.
somewhere with a certain unique musical instrument around. Try to learn that. Meet a teacher, and like try to learn that. Or pick it up and use YouTube. So whether you're traveling or not, like learning something new.
Have you ever thought about going, like, so I'm thinking about going back to community college just for fun.
Just for some classes?
Yeah, like I might take, so I have a couple different ideas, like maybe a drawing class or, some kind of art class, maybe guitar, but maybe also instead I do business or entrepreneurship. Like I'm wondering if I were to take an entrepreneurship, is there little things that should be obvious that I'm skipping over?
Right.
Or accounting. It's like, I know how to do basic accounting, but maybe like I'd learn something in this class that's like, oh, wow, I just saved $10,000 this year because of this little trick or whatever I learned.
I mean, yeah, if that's the way, like, if that's how your mind works, do that. I would say, like, do something just brand fucking new.
Right.
Like that you have no idea about. And honestly, you may only last through a few weeks of it and be like, oh, I can't do it. It's not for me. Like, I'd rather go learn more. And I might even be like that. But, like, there's something fun about knowing that you could get a lot of benefit from something or at least, like, open up a new part of your brain. I think whether you're looking for something to do because you're unhappy and you're young or you're getting older and you're feeling stagnant, just doing something new is so important.
Yeah.
And, maybe it is just taking an accounting class, but I've always thought in recent times, I've kind of really been thinking about finding a university that will help me do a grad school. What's it called? A master's?
Masters, yeah.
Do a master's in a curriculum and program I develop myself with them.
Right.
That will enable me to keep living my life the way I am.
What kind of
And
classes?
get a scholarship to do it.
Well, that might be tough, but
I don't know though.
Yeah, maybe.
Find a private university. They've got so much money.
Yeah.
Show them what I've been doing anyway.
Right.
The social entrepreneurship stuff with digital media.
Right.
Show them the essays I've been writing about how the world functions with digital technology. I know it could happen.
Yeah.
It's just going to take so much work to find those schools, to do the application process, that's why I don't know if I'll actually do that.
What classes would you take if you were to do that? Like
I have no fucking clue. But
really? Okay.
I think a lot of them would revolve around like entrepreneurship. So
Yeah.
accounting would probably be in there. Stuff,
Yeah.
basic business stuff, digital media and arts stuff for sure.
Right.
Anthropology type stuff. And maybe some kind of, I don't know if there's humanitarian classes. I don't know.
So this might not apply to you as much. Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how much you make on the books anymore, but you're given $2,500 tax credit. So basically, let's say you pay, I don't know, $10,000 in tax. Let's say you're making $40,000 just as a fake number, and you pay $10,000 in taxes. If you instead take classes, you can directly deduct like the amount you owe the government. The government basically gives you free money up to like $2,500 or so to go back to school. So that's
cool.
Yeah, that's why community college to me is really interesting, because universities, it's like good luck, even taking one class for $2,500. But at a community college, you can take like 5-6 classes easily. So that's, I don't know. I mean,
well, Coursera.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other ones are anymore.
Udemy, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could take online courses for free from, renowned. The last one I did, and I lasted like 3 weeks before I just couldn't handle it anymore. But it was a Cal Arts class, actually. It was about this programming language this guy developed for music.
Interesting.
So basically, you can program any kind of tool or gadget device, whether it's a Bluetooth mouse or even like a leap motion, whatever it is, you program it to make whatever musical frequencies you want. And you program the frequencies, you program like change the arpeggio, change the synth modulation, anything. You can program it as its own program so you can do musical performance with your own body, so to speak.
That's
and so Imogen Heap, Imogen Heap?
Nope.
Imogen Heap. She did the hide and seek song that SNL used once.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I just saw a video on Facebook for her new album, I guess. She's got controller gloves, and she's doing all her music, like moving her fingers, closing things. She doesn't need any equipment. It's all on her hands.
Huh.
So it's the same concept there. I took a class to learn how to do that
Yeah.
because I thought it would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't fucking handle it. Like after 2 classes, I was like, wait a minute, because there's all programming and they're like feedback loops, and I was like, what? And like there's all these like little steps that they skip and it was for people that already have basic understanding.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought I did.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it was so basic I couldn't follow it. And I tried to like go on the Blackboard thing so I could like see other people's projects, and it was just like I didn't have time. I was like, I fucking hated school when I was in it. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So I am a big fan of learning on your own.
See, I really do. I loved school. I like learning on my own too. Funny enough, most of the time when I was in school, I would learn on my own, but I kind of like I've done a lot of Coursera, and I do recommend Coursera, but I find around, week 5, 6, and this isn't just me, but 99% of people drop off.
Right.
Maybe even earlier, but it's like it sounds like, yeah, I'm going to learn quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
And then like after of course I want to know how to do that. After 3 or 4 weeks I'm like, why am I really doing this?
Yeah.
No real reason. Forget it. I mean, we'll see. I haven't taken a legit class since I graduated college, but I think that by paying that $250, going in and kind of developing a routine, plus for me being around other people it's like nice. I work at home by myself all the time, so I think part of the fee is just to hang out with other people for an hour.
Yeah. I'm learning. So, do you know much about Bitcoin stuff?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
About the world how the Bitcoin world is right now.
Like go ahead, explain it.
So, like the cryptocurrency scene, so to speak, is like
Bitcoin's going up, by the way, so I'm happy.
It is going up, but why is another question. Do you know why?
China, something to do with it?
Because the yuan is going down, and
right.
there's like a 4.4% like window between what the yuan converts to into Bitcoin and then back to the dollar.
Oh, okay.
So they can get their yuan out. The wealthy can get it out through Bitcoin.
Okay, so you think it's going to crash back pretty soon?
I have no idea. I bought some Bitcoin last week because I needed it for what I don't believe in Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
Bitcoin, I believe in the blockchain.
Mm.
So the Bitcoin technology that has made it as revolutionary as it is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But how Bitcoin itself operates it is questionable, and this is why the altcoin scene blew up, right? You have all the different coins. It started with Litecoin. It went to I was into Redcoin for a while, the social media tipping one, Dogecoin, obviously, all kinds of coins. But the one now that I believe is the future, at least for now, until more innovation happens, is Ethereum.
I've heard about this, yeah.
So Ethereum is a mix of like, I don't know, proof of stake and proof of velocity, whatever, stuff I don't understand.
Okay.
But the way they mint the coins is differently than Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin, the second halvening is happening next week. I think that's why they think it's going up. But the thing is that's built into the price to begin with. That kind of speculation when there's a big event coming. It's not going to happen after that halvening. It happens before because people know.
Yeah.
But so Ethereum is a completely different type of blockchain usage. It's the same type of blockchain, but it's a different way of using it. It's a different platform.
Okay.
So what is cool about Ethereum is there's a built-in programming language called Solidity, where you can make your own crowd sales. You can make your own democratic autonomous government. You could or organization. You could make your own cryptocurrency on it. So it's called a token. So everything you have Ethereum, the platform down below, which is kind of a cool Ether.
Yeah.
The coins are called Ether. And then it's the same thing. You have other nodes that are mining. And so every time there's a transaction, the node gets a reward for being a node. But once again, it's all decentralized, this and that. All the coins are already made, so there's no more mining. Like Bitcoin, they're still going to be mining until 2000 whatever.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing with a lot of the altcoins is they just made there's this many coins and now we distribute them. So the inflation rate can be different. Bitcoin has this weird built-in inflation thing or deflation, I don't know. So with Ethereum, you can make your own cryptocurrency on top of it. And at the end, you can always cash it out back into Ethereum based on what that value is. And then you can have built-in codes to automatically do exchanges. So I wish I could explain this better right now. So the value can't go down. Like the coding, it can automatically be trading your coin back to Ethereum. So you can always afford enough for it's called gas to make the transaction happen. But anyway, this built-in coding language is in the client, the wallet client.
Oh, okay.
You can do it right from there. So this thing called the DAO, Democratic Autonomous Organization, just raised close to $170 million in 4 weeks.
Wow.
With DAO tokens. So it's built off Ethereum. It's a crowdfunding thing, basically to make a for-profit company. And all that money, the $170 million, is the initial capital. And that fluctuates based off, what people trade it as after this. But basically, I put in all my other coins into it. So I'm a shareholder of this corporation now, of this company. The company's run off the blockchain, meaning human error and bias can't fuck it up. It has to follow the code. There's no board of directors. So now everyone that bought in, it has like this many coins, I think somewhere around 12 million coins. There cannot be any more coins for the DAO. Okay, after that, it's all distributed and people are trading it just like any other currency. But then people submit proposals. And the proposals are built-in programming contracts, meaning if everyone sees it and they like it, you vote on it. If it gets over 50%, that initial capital, the 170 million, however much is necessary, goes to the real-life contractors to build the product. And then the profits go back into the company, and the rewards go to the shareholders, the token holders, which are the people that made that.
I'm sure I have a lot of questions, but I think I'd need to sit down and
It's a lot. Anyway, so I think why I brought this up was Solidity, the programming language. I'm learning, and this is great. The website has it all laid out. It's all a not-for-profit foundation. They want people to be doing this because it's basically a way to have like anti-corruption going on. It could be a government. It could be a corporation. It could be just a crowd sale. It could be anything, but all the stuff is dispersed based on the initial contracts. Meaning, if people don't like the initial contract, they just simply don't sign up for it. They're like, this is bullshit. Why would I be a part of it? It's got corruption built into it. So the ones that are real, last, and so they have like these prediction markets with it. Anyway, I'm making this the platform for Perception Travels Network.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we go and meet communities making their own product throughout the world and we want to sell them and they have no way of getting on, we make a different token for them, based on the perception coin. I think we're going to call it perceptrons.
Okay.
So basically it'll last for a certain amount of time. And so then you can buy this community's product and then it'll come back in. I don't know how it's going to work yet. But I'm excited because I get to learn this new kind of system to integrate it with what I've been working on anyway, with videos, with user registration, with getting people into this blockchain.
Right.
And I can't learn that in school.
Right.
I have to learn it on my own. But also I have a reason to learn it. It's going to make my business better. It's all decentralized. You don't need a fucking server to do it.
Yeah.
There's zero reason to not get into this kind of thing if you're a brand new startup with nothing to show for yourself anyway.
Right. I want to get back to what we were talking about before. One of the things you said, something you should do in your 20s is starting a vlog, starting to grow some kind of following. Why? Why is that important to you?
For several reasons. One is I think too many people these days, I could be completely wrong here, I'm saying this out of my ass, but a lot of people want to I'm going to start a new YouTube channel so I can be the next Casey Neistat, so I can get 1 million subscribers and make all this money, right? Or I'm going to start an Instagram so I can get sponsorship, so people pay me for every 100 likes I get, right? I think that's a mentality that's not productive. I don't think it's harmful. It's just not as productive as you could start a blog or a vlog or anything to just be yourself, whether it's artistically or process things out loud. A big reason people like my YouTube channel with my vlogs is because I just talk to the camera when I'm alone so I can process through my emotions. And it helps me a lot. It's therapeutic. I feel better after.
Yeah.
I feel like talking to a therapist, right? I feel better after because, maybe it's my mind. I'm good at processing through things, but I still have to do it. But something about it my viewers really like.
Do you ever feel like there's certain things you don't want to share?
Well, in that case, I don't have to put it online.
Right.
But
So you
I still
record it.
feel better doing it. Yeah, I've deleted some. Sometimes I put it on just for 2 days, and then I make it private.
Oh, that's cool too.
Yeah, just because I'm like, this is really intimate, and I
Right.
don't need to share it.
Right.
Because like I think my biggest fans will see it right away, and they'll watch it, and like they're cool, they can watch it. The other people that kind of just float in later, like
Yeah.
they don't need to see it, right? It's really personal.
Yeah.
But I'll still do it just because like I think with any kind of art, if it's real art, you can feel it. If it's a song that makes you feel really good, or a painting that blows you away, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
the audience feels it. So it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be good by aesthetic standards, which is what the Western world wants you to think, right? Or
Yeah.
like, oh, it's only art if you follow all the rules and it's it's up to snuff. But no, it's really art if it just comes from your heart. It's not about it being good by any means. So I think starting a blog or a vlog or an Instagram, whatever it is, you can start a following just by being yourself. And insert the proper hashtags, learn how to SEO, and people will find it. And you don't have to like cater to an audience. You can be yourself.
Right.
And this is what I've been experimenting with for 2 years with my personal YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I don't have a certain theme. People subscribe to me for weed videos, but I do it's mainly just spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And so like I can pull in people, but it's not like my 4,000 subscribers all watch every video I make. They don't.
Yeah.
They straight up don't. They'll
Yeah.
watch every weed video, but only 40 or 100 will watch my real videos. Because it's not about the following. It's
Yeah.
about me just being able to express myself. But it just so happens to also be building a following.
Right.
So what I mean is that anyone can do that. You don't have to do it with a conscious intention to have 1 million followers.
Do you sometimes, I assume you do, but so do you sometimes use that following, let's say, to promote a new thing? And
I'm always promoting everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you seen a lot of crossover?
No, very little, but there's some. But fortunately, I don't rely on any of that. Fortunately, nothing I do is about the statistics. Like, as much as I would love to make money from what I do, like, I'm sure maybe one day I will, but like, no, I'm a horrible marketer. I sometimes care about SEO, but sometimes it's just so much work to just make these videos and upload them and find the right date to put them on that, like, I just don't care.
Have you ever thought about writing a book?
I've written several books.
Really?
I have, from my year in Thailand, I have an autobiography.
Did it do all right?
I haven't released it yet.
Oh, you haven't released it?
I'm waiting till my following is bigger.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've gotten good feedback. I need to go through it. I need to comb through it one more time. But it's just about all my decadence in Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good book.
Nice.
It's my first nonfiction that I'll release. I've written 2 fiction books. I've written that. It's a trilogy for my travels. So the first book is that one. And it's basically about my 20s before I come into who I am now, which is kind of like I finally figured out kind of like what I'm supposed to do. And a lot of it combines with when I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But it's called the Post-Bohemian Chronicles. It's a 3-part trilogy from 23 years old to 27, just about what I was doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when it's live and we'll get you back on and
Yeah,
talk about it.
And we'll promote it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the crossover stuff, like, I recorded a CD with these kids in Jamaica. So all my Jamaican videos at the end, there's a thing, go here to download the CD.
Right.
And in every description, click here to see the CD.
How did you get some downloads
No,
from it?
I've gotten none.
You got none.
Because people more or less just don't care about the CD I recorded. Because on that YouTube channel, it's about me.
Right.
It's not about the kids. Even though, they watch it, the kids, and they go, wow, you're such a good guy. You're volunteering with the kids. But then you watch the perception travel videos, which is the more videos about the kids, and then you have people going like, how do I go and volunteer? How do I donate? So I have 2 different projects for my travels. One is just my own diary, and my following is appropriate for that. And then one is for the people I meet, for the things I'm doing, and to get other people involved. So I think one day they will just combine completely. And when that happens, cool. But there's just, actually, no, that's not true. I have had people get a hold of me that have wanted to be involved and that have wanted to maybe not donate money, but like
Be involved.
Yeah, be involved. Like quite a few people, even on comments, like, how do I go down there? And considering my following is pretty small, like, I would say it's a pretty good rate of interest.
Right.
And even on Snapchat, people get a hold of me. And so that kind of stuff is neat because I can one-on-one connect.
Mm-hmm.
If I have them go to the website and then they have to fill out the form, that's so many steps for the crossover rate that but if I can just get them to approach me personally, I've got the time.
Yeah.
That's what I live for. That's what I travel for. I like connecting people. I like meeting people. So it's cool. Get a hold of me, and people that really want to, they do.
So that kind of segues into another thing we talked about is entrepreneurship and like starting some kind of a business or something. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think if you do all the research, you could probably speak for this better than me, but like if you do all the research on how to design a website, how to make it SEO'd, search engine optimized, if SEO doesn't mean anything to you, search engine optimized, hashtags on all your social media, you could start a brand, learn everything about it, and then start a brand and just like cruise with it forever. Like, I'm sure there are other ways that aren't off the top of my head to monetize more than just simple followings.
Yeah.
Like, that's why people write blogs, as you have it SEO'd, and then you click on the blog and there's buy this on Amazon, click this link, and I get some credit for it. Or, so there's that kind of stuff. Imagine you had a cool little product you could sell from your house, or like built-in art.
Yeah.
You could sell that stuff. I don't really know because I've never exactly started a business just for starting a business, but I feel like if you did enough research to start something just because you don't have anything to do, and start it when you're not like broke and like, holy fuck, what am I going to do for money? Like, start it when you like know, okay, in the future I would like to be fully self-employed,
right?
So I'm going to start this now, so by the time I'm ready to quit my job, I'll have something.
Yeah, so I want to add to that, like, freelancing as well is something. I think just making money outside of the typical system, outside of some big company paying you, there's something really interesting about realizing that you can make money by, maybe it's freelancing, maybe it's starting a company. I have a YouTube channel called Effective E-commerce where I teach people how to start e-commerce companies, and I've gotten like, I think I made $300 off one video just through affiliate signups, and every month it's increasing. So last month was $128. Next month it'll be $200. Yeah, and so it's like that one video is probably going to make me by the end of the year like $2,000-$3,000. And there's something about like making your first $100 outside of the system that's just like, whoa, I can do this. And I'd say it's probably as much work going from 0 to 100 as it is from 100 at least to 1,000, maybe 5,000, and then it's as much work going from 5,000 to 50,000. But it's just that first $100. It's liberating to know that, all right, if I lost my job, I could make money outside of.
I'll have $100. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about like my YouTube videos. For a while it was every 4 months I would make $120 because the payout on YouTube is 100, right?
Okay.
So I'd get $110, $120 every 4 months. Then it was every 3 months. Now it's every month.
Oh, that's cool.
So my credit cards are paid off by my weed YouTube videos.
Wow.
However, I think there's kind of like an audience cap for weed videos. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like the last viral one I had, it kind of stopped after like 450,000, like 450,000. But I also took off ads. And I think YouTube kind of like stops giving a fuck if they're not going to make money off your video.
I've wondered a lot about that. That's another
like
topic.
If I turned the ads back on, it would probably keep blowing up. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, because my one YouTube channel, I'm not running any ads because I'd make almost nothing on ads, and I'm wondering if that's hindering me. But that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I go through this because it's like it would be so cool to be making a few $100 a month off these videos, but at the same time, like, I don't know if I feel right about it. Like, they really are for educational purposes. Like, I really believe in marijuana. It should be legalized. It's a good thing. But it's all just these stoner people and these, like, a lot of just fuckers that are commenting and just, like, YouTube commenters. And I'm just like, these fucking people, Like, do I really want to get money from that? So, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. But, yeah, if a YouTube video can make you money, fuck. Like, imagine what else you can do with a little, like, marketing's hard. But, if you have a product, you have a good website, and you have a good skill, you can email 1 million people in a year and get responses. Like, hey, I can do this for you for a good price. Like, start cheap and, you keep working up. Like, I remember how cheap I've worked for years for just doing freelance stuff. And like now I don't work cheap anymore just because I don't want to work.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just not work.
Sure.
And so when people ask me, can you do this? Can you do this? I go, yeah, it's going to be double what I would have told you a year ago, though.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. And fortunately now, though, as a video editor, I have skills that can actually be like, yeah, here, look at this. I am worth it. So.
Have you, just switching gears a little bit, because one of the next ones we have is exploring your home country. Have you explored the U.S. a lot? Like, I know.
So fucking much.
Oh,
yeah.
you have? Okay.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, my dad took us traveling a lot when we were growing up.
Okay.
We went on a lot of road trips, and I don't know how much I would have said I would have explored as a 10-year-old, but like, yeah, saw a lot visibly. He took us to New York and the East Coast when I was 12 for like a week. That was cool. We went on a road trip when I was 14 up to Seattle. We went all throughout California. My grandparents are from the Mojave Desert, so we'd go there all the time. So like I definitely did my share of exploring just growing up. But then, I explored Europe for a while in my young 20s, and then I kind of came back, after that college boom of my savings, and then like, Bangkok, back to Europe, and then I came back, and I'm like, fuck. I'm never gonna have money again because I don't work anymore. I've got nothing. I've got no platform for freelancing. I don't even have a computer that works anymore. Like what am I gonna do?
What's that one?
Well, yeah, no. I'm talking a few years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like I was just looking at living my life like with nothing, just like this minimalist, and like that was fine, but I still needed to keep traveling, right, or moving, and so. It ended up just being in the States, hitching rides with friends, going somewhere, staying with someone there, doing this there. And there's a lot of networking that happens. Like, dude, there's so many mutual friends I have on Facebook of travelers. There's like this circle of travelers that know each other. And I'll meet someone in New Orleans that knows someone I met in Portland because they're travelers. There's so many people in this country that are just travelers. And I didn't experience that as much in Europe. I kind of did, but not as much. Maybe I wasn't there long enough in those circles. But like here, man, every year when I'm in a new place, like every year I spend 2 months in the South, roughly, and in a new city. So this year was like Louisville and Nashville. Last year was Asheville, New Orleans every year, obviously. But like every year I'll just meet these people that know people. And then once I even met a bunch of those people in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Like you meet them. You just meet them. It's trippy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of travelers here, and they find their own way. They buy vans. They hitchhike. They do whatever. Like, if you can inherit a vehicle big enough to sleep in, you're good.
Yeah.
People gas jug. You go to the gas station, and you have a jug, and you go, hey, would you mind donating a gallon or two? We're just trying to whatever,
I've never heard about that before. That's interesting.
Yeah, totally. And, people are nice. Like... I'm not saying I agree with asking for handouts. I would say if you're doing something like that, have your friend be playing music or hand out little arts and crafts you make. Like, don't ask for handouts like, oh, pity me. No one's going to pity you because you're trying to just do your own thing. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, you're not necessarily special.
Right.
Just because people are working and you're not doesn't mean they should take care of you. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's cool that you said that because that's how I feel. Like,
yeah.
there's some times where, maybe... like I have a lot more respect now than I used to for people that do play music in public, assuming it's music that I like. It kind of enhances the experience, which usually it does. But I still hate when someone's just asking for money.
Dude, and I'm someone that plays music often for money in the streets, but I don't feel bad about it. I'm playing the accordion. Know that. Who doesn't smile when they hear a fucking accordion?
Yeah.
That thing is such a unique thing. But then when I'm traveling, I'll see fucking just beggars trying to give me a hard time. I'm like, give me something back.
Yeah.
Smile or something.
Right.
Give me something to excuse the fact that you're just a low life that's asking for a handout. Like I already said, I have no problem with people dying out. Like I've already said that. I mean that lovingly. I don't mean it, but like get your act together if you want me to help you out, right? Like get your act together. So that said, like gas jugging is like, I have this nonprofit now, and I can explain to people in a sentence what I do. So, like, if I wanted to do that these days, I probably could. And I go, yeah, we're a nonprofit media company. We document the smiles, not the fear, because there's not enough of that. We'll do it all by donation. Would you like to donate a gallon of gas? We're going around the country meeting people. I'll even take a picture of you for the Instagram. Whatever. Like, people would be into that shit,
Sure.
But, yeah, you can gas jug. You could... live in a van. You could hitchhike. You could have a tent and sleep in fields. But anyway, what I've done has always just kind of been a hybrid of everything. Like this last spring, I was just road tripping around in a fucking Honda Accord with this girl I met on Reddit that wanted to liberate her life a little bit. So we went traveling.
I guess that kind of goes back to one of the first things we were talking
Well,
about.
real quick,
Yeah.
Walmart parking lots.
Oh yeah.
You're allowed to sleep there. They won't bother you.
Why Walmart specifically?
They just let you do it. You can park your RVs. I don't know, but that's also why Walmarts are so sketch.
That's interesting. So I mean, this kind of goes back to the first thing we were talking about. So you don't have a lot of money and you want to travel. Sounds like it doesn't take a lot,
No, it really doesn't. I mean, it obviously requires some sacrifice of comfort, but that should be exciting. Like if you're wanting to go travel, you should not, for the first time, you should not expect to have anything you know. If you're going to a new country, you're not even going to have the same goddamn language going on, you know? Different color skin maybe, people, different buildings, different food. If you're expecting to be comfortable, you're going to be in a whole lot of not fun times.
Especially if you're doing it cheaply. Like that's one thing I've learned. Like now that sometimes I travel now, or I do travel now, I'll spend a little bit more money on a hotel or whatever. And it's not as deep down traveling, but when I was doing it cheaper before, it's like, I'm not always going to get a good night's sleep. And it's like that's kind of to be expected. Now it's like I'll spend a little bit more.
And it's easier when you're younger. Like in your younger 20s, it's easier to sleep on a
park
couch,
bench.
whatever. Yeah, on a park bench. Now I sleep on the floor anyway because it's better for your back.
Oh, okay.
I do that anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a weird twist there, but for different reasons,
Yeah.
But I mean, it's part of the rewarding experience. If you're not happy in your life and you want to find some kind of satisfaction, like I said earlier, get rid of all your comfort zones. And go be uncomfortable, and you'll see what you like. You'll see what you don't like. You don't ever have to do it again, but at least explore it. At least explore it. And being broke is a great way to explore those discomfort zones because you might find something. Like my anecdote was always like once I was in Serbia, outside of Belgrade, trying to hitchhike out of there. My couch surfer left me at a really shitty spot to hitchhike because he thought it was great, not his fault problem. Ended up walking for miles, just walking down the freeway. Finally, during rush hour, someone picks me up and drives me just like a mile, drops me off at this gas station. But gas stations are great to hitchhike because you can actually go up to someone and be like, hey, excuse me, do you speak English? Yeah. Where are you heading north? I'm also trying to head north. Like that kind of stuff eliminates like this whole, is this hitchhiker going to kill me? Because like, you kind of feel the vibe of the person. It makes it a human-to-human interaction, a lot like the gas checking. Anyway, so he leaves me at this gas station, and no one fucking goes, like all night. No one shows up. So like I buy a Snickers bar, and like I end up just sleeping in a field behind the gas station, overlooking the city. Beautiful full moon, stars bright, this peaceful, relaxing field, and I'm like, I could not have planned this. I couldn't have found a campsite this nice.
There's something too about like when you're really uncomfortable. I've noticed this too. Like when I am feeling kind of down, and then you're really uncomfortable for a while. And maybe you take a hot shower or you find something beautiful like that. It's like it's so much better. Like if someone were to take me to that field and it's part of a tourism, like a little van tour, I'd be like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. But you suffered for it this whole time, and then I'm sure it was like, wow. This is amazing.
Speaking of van tours, right after that, the next morning, the first car shows up. I'm like, hey, excuse me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, get in. This guy, kind of a younger guy, speaks really good English, takes me, drops me off at the junction at this rest stop place where all these fucking van tours are stopping. First tour goes in, it's a bunch of French people, and French people are renowned for their fucking snobbery, right? Yeah. And they're... After the bus leaves, I see all these half sandwiches still in the plastic bag and coffees just sitting there.
Yeah.
And so I scored.
Yeah.
I go up and I just fucking had 3 sandwiches. I stuffed them away for later. And I got some coffee all for free.
Yeah.
And it's these are people in a fucking tour van. They're clean. It's not like they're dropping the sandwich on. I watched them eat it and not throw it away.
Right.
So I was sweet.
Yeah.
And so once again, get rid of that pride. Go dumpster diving.
Yeah.
Dig through trash cans if you need to do it. Recycle. Look at the people collecting bottles here. They do that to support their families, and they'll have huge-ass bags of bottles to go recycle just for a small amount of money. But, you can do it.
Yeah.
It'll help you survive. But, you have to kind of just, rewire yourself. Reprogram all that cultural stuff. Just throw it all away. Get rid of your identity as what you think you are. Mm-hmm. Be broke. Be homeless. Whatever. And then just see what happens. And then, it doesn't have to be forever. Right. Just, do it for a little bit. But, honestly, if you have nothing available to you, that is like the biggest blessing in disguise. Because when you have like a little money and you're like, well, I shouldn't spend it, but where else am I going to sleep? I better get this hotel.
Right.
Like, then you're going to get the hotel. It's like, did you ever read that book Hatchet?
Yeah,
About that kid that got like stranded and all he had was a hatchet in the forest. In the sequel, some reporter wants to go back with him to learn how he did it,
and then again.
No, well, yeah,
okay.
the reporter actually dies. But before that, sorry, spoiler alert.
I was gonna say spoiler
for Hatchet 2. The reporter wanted to bring like this backup radio and this and that just in case of an emergency. And the main character's like, dude, no.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have that emergency. That's the point.
Yeah.
What I did was so spectacular because I didn't have that radio. So it's that same kind of thing. It's the safety net. What are you going to do with your safety net?
But in this example, the reporter dies for not having the safety net. Maybe not the perfect.
Yeah, but not the protagonist.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know if he died. I'm pretty sure he did, but I don't know.
Okay.
But dude, the reporter wanted to come along.
That's right. No, that's true. I know we have to wrap up here in a second, so I'm just going to read off some of the last things that we have. Yeah, I mean, we have volunteer, experiment with new things, make new friends. You can also make new friends online. Try art.
Traveling, try art, learn an instrument. Well, I saw that, Start a business with little capital, start a vlog is the next one. It's the same thing. Even going traveling broke, bring a GoPro along that you buy on a credit card. Cough, cough, that's what I did. People fucking love travel vlogs and vlogs. People love them. Travel Snapchats. Like, people fucking love it. Wi-Fi is free everywhere, man. Like, I read a Reddit AMA about some dude walking from Florida to California with no money.
Yeah.
And like Little Caesars throws out pizzas if they're not delivered within 15 minutes. And like people would just hand him money and he wouldn't take it, so they would hand him food. And he had an iPad. That's all he had the whole time. There's free Wi-Fi everywhere. Like, like that guy did it because he was depressed.
Yeah.
So he just threw it all away and just thought, and he had the most rewarding experience of his life. And also he developed a huge following.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which is a business.
Yeah.
And it's not little capital, it's no capital.
Yeah.
I guess the iPad, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, all this stuff on this list we made, learn new skills, meet new people, volunteer, explore your home country, not have money, all this stuff can be accomplished like in the same time, Like have all these goals in mind and go out and do something and it'll all happen.
Yeah, make new friends, yeah.
Yeah, and if you really don't want to travel, like, and you really don't want to like go be uncomfortable because you have somewhere to live and you're comfortable, then none of this really applies to you anyway because you should be pretty happy in your situation then, And good for you. I'm jealous.
Cool.
So,
I mean, I guess we'll wrap it up with that. Any last
man.
closing thoughts?
No, that was good shit.
Good stuff. All right.
Good.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. And if you did, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button down below. You can also check me out on Facebook and on Twitter. And I release a new video every Monday. And by hitting that subscribe button, you'll get those new videos every Monday. And this is really a podcast. It's also a website. You can check out the website. It's howtodoyour20s.com. I'll put a link right over here as well. And what it's all about is trying to improve your life. And we specifically focus on things that people in their 20s are interested in. So make sure you like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. Like us on Facebook and Twitter, whatever. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again on another video.